What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. I'm here for a bike fit. As most of you know, I've been following and I'm getting sized up for a new bike. I have never had a bike fit before in my life. I don't know if you even know that, but I'm here to get an ID match bike fit with Hayden. I want to find out like what I can optimize, what I can change, and maybe learn a few things along the way. So without further ado, I hope you enjoy this video of my bike fit.
How you doing?
Good, nice to meet you again.
Yeah, you too.
Oh, you've met already?
Briefly.
Oh, shut up. Somebody could have said something.
Okay, Hayden started to take a couple of my measurements and we built a little avatar on the screen. I look like I got a fair bit more muscle mass than usual. I don't, but I did for a time have a custom. Am I right in saying when you change shoes you've got to then have more like remolded?
So what you're going to do now is you're going to come up onto your forefoot. So you're going to come forwards, you can hold onto the frame, taking your right foot off of the floor, then you're just going to bend your knee once you're in that position. So you're going to come up, lift your heel off the floor, that's it, bend your knee.
I have to say this process was really thorough. I really didn't know what to expect. But when you're working with someone who knows what they're doing, teamed with a really, really impressive bit of kit that is the ID match, I mean, things can do wonders.
It was just on pure. No one had any legs left. He got left perfectly.
You can be brutal.
No, not at all. I was going to say they're ever so slightly further back than what we've measured. However, you're generally better going further back than you are further forward.
Yeah, so what I've heard, but yeah.
Gone the right. I mean, we're talking like a few mil, so they're actually, yeah, position-wise they're pretty good.
It almost feels like my left leg is in the most perfect spot it could be. Sorry, my right leg can be in the most perfect sort of,
yeah,
like
a piston.
Yeah,
nice
go in.
straight,
Like,
yeah.
but then in my left leg, I think it's my left leg. See, I don't know until I'm riding. It's not optimal. In my head, I'm losing something. It's right leg. Right leg is the one that feels like it's never been.
This cleat position is basically slightly pointing towards your toe, your big toe.
Which has my heel in ever so slightly.
So having it towards your toe, then yeah, pulls your heel in slightly.
Yeah.
This one
It's slightly heel out.
is very straight.
Oh, very straight. Okay.
Well, which then results in almost being slightly more heel out. Like I said, measurements we've just taken. So you've got handlebar stack and reach, and then you've got saddle height and foreaft.
Yeah.
BRP, as a point of reference, is what Stella Italia label as biomechanical. BRP stands for biomechanical reference point, which on any saddle is where it's 70 mil wide. So on a Stella Italia saddle, it's there. And if you look on the bottom of a Stella Italia saddle, they'll have a line on that point. So at the moment, that's what the saddle height and foreaft is going on. Okay, opposed to the nose of the saddle. Difference. It's pretty cool, isn't it?
So this is the saddle I'm going to be trying first, and we'll see where we go. How it feels. Well, it's weird when I walk into the shot. It like comes
Yeah,
up
it picks
on
you
the-
up on the camera.
Okay.
So it's a 3D camera. So last bit before we get on the jig, you've got the option of going Gran Fondo, which is more comfortable, through to aggressive, which obviously is slightly more aggressive.
Over the years, I feel like I've come up at the front.
So you kind of started more aggressive when you were racing.
Yeah, but I wasn't. I had a negative stem when I was racing. Negative 17 stem. It was like the style at the time.
Do negative 17.
Negative 17 at the front, and then we gradually went neutral. but because of all the climbing and stuff, I feel like I've just naturally come up. But I wouldn't know on the list. Probably. Yeah. Well.
In the middle.
Can we go middle and then where does that?
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right. Do you want to jump on? And we'll see how this feels in comparison. Right. It's quite high. You can step through the middle if you want.
Cool.
When you get people like stepping up from the floor trying to yeah, cool, on the saddle.
I'll put that in the bloopers.
Yeah. So, I've got you on here. Right, one thing it does pick up on is anything reflective. So I feel like we're going to pick. So the whole bike fit goes off the drops to start with.
Okay.
Which is, I know, we spend more time on the hoods. However, the idea thinking is if we can get you comfortable on the drops, we can optimise your position there. When you come up to the hood, you're anything more comfortable.
Funny you say that. I spend, because I don't race as much as I used to, I spend so little time in the drops.
Yeah. Straight off the bat, that saddle's quite a lot different, isn't it? So how does it feel now? I know like, we'll obviously get you riding and then we can see how it feels further in, but
It's difficult to know where I'm sat on it.
it's quite a lot. It's a lot different to what you used to.
Yeah.
So if you want to start spinning, how does that position feel in comparison to your current bike?
A lot different. Okay, I swear that noise wasn't my knees. So I fast forwarded this bit, okay, purely because obviously the noise that was coming out of the ID Match bike fit unit. So the Sella Italia saddle, I actually used Sella Italia way back when I was a junior, like 10 years ago. I remember them being really comfortable. I can't remember why I never went back to them. Maybe it's because I started riding for a team and we got given saddles. But potentially back on a Sella Italia now. You might be able to see some subtle changes in the handlebar and saddle height as the bike fit is moving with me on it as we're changing things. But this was really sort of, I mean, this was sort of reactive. Like I was feeding back and Hayden was changing things. And so it was a bit of man and machine working together in perfect harmony, really. I was really enjoying my experience.
Okay, so right, we're looking at 50.
So this is where we can configure from all different like factor models, stem length, spacers, and then it'll spit out like recommendations and
how we can get closer to your position on the jig. And then we can try out your position on factor based on your...
that would be. I heard a quote like fit before buy or something like.
Yeah.
And like people saying like, oh, you could save yourself so much more money if you were to do it that way around as opposed to.
Sorry.
No six pack, devastated.
Well, I don't know about that. So you've got your key kind of anthropometrical measurements on the right hand side.
Ah.
As we scroll down, we've got what they call bike accessories, which is basically component choices. So this is what we recommend off of like the initial kind of screening process.
Yeah.
And we've stuck with everything. So you've gone, well, I say stuck with everything. We recommended an S2. We've gone for an S3, which is slightly wider cutout, but we kept the same width.
Yeah.
We've gone for a small compact bar, and then we've gone for a 172.5 crank length. Then it's done with 25mm spacers. Sella Italia SLR boost, which is an S3, and then the small wacky handlebar, which will be the integrated bar stem. This is the average of all the angles we were collecting while you were riding.
So what were the biggest changes that we've made? We tweaked my right cleat ever so slightly.
Yeah.
I'm slightly more heel in, which is where my left foot is roughly.
Yeah.
I've now got a longer stem.
Yeah.
120. Well, different saddle, obviously.
Yeah, so we've got a different saddle. We've also, in comparison to the sort of initial fit position, we've pulled your saddle forward ever so slightly, so you're sitting further onto the back of the saddle. I say further onto the back of the saddle, but you're actually more onto the part of the saddle that you want to sit on now, opposed to sitting sort of gravitating further forward and sitting more on the sort of narrower nose of the saddle. So you should be more comfortable.
Yeah, because a lot of what I've done, you know, for years is almost done on feel.
Yeah.
So like to have something where now we can say, look, this is here because of, is now like in my head. It's like it feels like it's a lot more clear as to like where I am in relation to the machine I'm sat on.
Yeah,
basically.
totally that. Yeah. So, like we said, your saddle height, I think it's probably not going to be too dissimilar to the saddle height on your current bike.
Yeah.
However, like you said, it kind of reinforces why you're in that position, why you want that saddle height. Actually, if you want your saddle slightly further forward, so you sit further back on the saddle, it'll be interesting to see on your current bike where you're at in comparison.
Yeah, maybe that's even a video in itself.
Yeah.
My old position. Yeah, because
obviously it may feel slightly different when you first get on that bike in that position. However, you don't want it to feel uncomfortable. So I often say that it might feel different, but you don't want it to feel different to the point where it feels uncomfortable, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So different is normal to start with, but you should then kind of start getting very comfortable, and it should then feel quite normal quite quickly.
Yeah.
And I think because we've made small tweaks, like saddle height's not drastically lower or higher, it's quite similar to what you're currently used to. We maybe just changing the fore aft slightly.
Yeah.
In that respect, then yeah, I would compare the current position to your current bike. So saddle height wise, you're always working in a range.
Yeah.
I would say that you've got an optimal height for you at the moment, but then the way you feel on that bike may change based on what you've done in the day, what you've done a few days before. Like you've had a long drive, so you're going to feel slightly different today than what you would if you were not.
Yeah, cool. Nice. So most people probably have guessed now what my bike partner is for 2022, but it's more than a bike partner. Hashtag more than a bike partner. It's a whole experience, and I'll get on to more of that very, very soon. The bike fit is actually just one part of it. There's more to it than that. But again, like I said, more to come on that. I'm actually getting the bike very, 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 very soon, and we're going to do some incredible things on it virtually straight away. But one thing I will point out, if there's any questions, you know, about the bike fit or anything at all, even about the ID match or anything, to be honest, even my own position, then please make sure you leave something in the comment section down below, and I'll be more than happy to reply. The one thing I have done, obviously I've not been riding with a new position, but I have been riding with that new cleat position on my right shoe. And oh my word, I cannot believe the difference. Initially it felt like a massive change, even though it was a very, very small adjustment. Let me know if you've had something similar, you know, a tiny adjustment that's felt like worlds apart. But after a couple of weeks of riding it, it feels like that little piece of the jigsaw that I've always been hunting for is finally there. I finally found it in that 1000th jigsaw puzzle, finally found that one little piece. So hopefully when we just put all of these pieces together with this new bike, with the new fit, things aren't massively different at all. But it's just having that peace of mind that these new things are being put into place. And hopefully I just feel like even more connected with the bike than I already am. And will go that extra length to, you know, better my experience on my bike and off the bike, and make sure I have more fun and maybe even better performances on the bike. Who knows? So, new bike coming soon. Thank you so much for bearing with me. It's been a long time. I know. I'm sorry. I'm teasing you so much, but I can't wait to show you it. Thank you so much for your support. It's always greatly appreciated, and I will see you soon. See you very, very soon.